Greetings, everyone. This is I'm Right.
And I'm right.
You're not.
You
Jill.
know I'm right.
Nope. I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova. How you doing today, Jill?
I'm okay.
Actually, I don't really want to talk to you today. I want to
What?
talk to I want to talk
What?
I want to talk to the audience today. That's what I want to do.
So,
I don't want to talk to you.
fine. For the next half hour, you talk to yourself.
I just want to talk to the audience today. So, audience, I'm going to bring you into my world in this short banter we have. So
buckle up.
So you know how we have a little banter every week. So we were sitting here trying to figure out what are we going to have for banter. So I was trying to figure that out and realized that my brain is really odd. So I was looking and I was searching my mind, but all I could see was like cobwebs and marbles and
Cobwebs and marbles
and pencils and just all this weird stuff just floating in my head, just trying to figure out what we could use for banter for this week, because my brain
you're wired a little differently than the rest of us.
Yes. See, well, you know how I am a person that can say honestly, I'm really scattered brain. I'm scatterbrain. I really am. My brain is just scattered all over the place. You know, like,
yes,
for instance,
I do know.
For instance, this morning we were laying in the bed and then all of a sudden I say, "Run, Forrest, run."
And I said, "Why are you saying that?" You said, "I'm thinking of the Forrest Gump movie."
That's right, like, from nowhere.
Yes, but why?
Yeah, but I could see everything. I could see, the braces coming off his legs, and then how he just kept on running.
I said, "But what made you think of that?"
Nothing. Just scatterbrain.
That's exactly what you said. You know how my brain works. Like, actually, I don't.
Yeah, I really am a scattered brain. But I think that's a good thing for me. It helps me with imagery and all of that, for writing.
Yes.
So that's good. So, but that is not our episode for today. Maybe we can have an episode on my scatterbrain mind.
We could explore that. Actually, I think that topic relates to this week's episode topic. So today we're talking about when your partner is 2 or 3 steps ahead of you in the decision-making process. It's part of a segment that we call
Stand by Your Stance.
Tony, you came up with this topic because you always accuse me of being 2 or 3 steps ahead of you.
Look,
and I don't think that's true.
All of the listeners know that you're smarter than me.
That's not true.
You're way smarter than me.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
I don't think that's true.
It is true.
I really don't.
And you're
really
classier than me also. But that has nothing to do with this topic. It's that you're smarter than me and you're always 2 and 3 steps ahead of me.
I don't think that's true. Not always. Sometimes, yes, I am 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. Like years ago when we met, our listeners all know that you were writing poetry before we met.
Yeah.
I could see in your poetry that you'd probably also make a great prose writer.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't see it. See, that's a case. You were 2 or 3 steps ahead of me.
In that case, I was because I could see it. I could see it clearly, and you were in denial. So, in order to get you to write prose, I tricked you.
You did trick me.
I did. I set out to trick you, and it worked.
That's because you're always 2 and 3 steps ahead of me.
No, that was one case where I was, but I'm not always.
You tricked me on many things, many things. Many things.
Like what? What else?
Well, we could have, especially when it comes to producing something. Yeah. So,
but that's different.
So
that's what I did as a profession. I should be ahead of you in that regard.
If we have a project that we're going to work on, and it involves video or me in video, and I'll say, okay, well, we'll make a video on this and we'll do this. And you'll say, okay. And then that's it. So throughout the week, I'm thinking about this project we're going to work on. Oh, yeah, this project. Wow. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, I got another idea. Oh, we can do this. And then we can do this and this and this. And then like, I feel like I'm brilliant. I'm like really brilliant to come up with all of these ideas, right? Like cutting edge ideas. And
cutting edge.
Cutting edge. Yes. To me, they're cutting edge, right? I got all of these cutting edge ideas, right? So I can't wait to, sit down and discuss this with Jill. So I do. I'm like all happy and proud of myself that I came up with all these great ideas. And I said, Jill, we could do this. We could do A, B, C, D, and then we could do F, G, H, I, J, and all of these things we can do. And you're just kind of looking, just plain face, just deadpan face. And your eyes are like, I could see like you're humming in your brain, right? Just, Well, I'll let him get this out. And I can say,
but I am listening in case there's something you say that I hadn't thought
of. And I could say to you, Jill, are you listening? Are you paying attention? These are great ideas. And then I keep looking deeper and I realize you already thought of all of these things. And so I'll say, Jill, did you think of all of this already? Oh yeah, I thought about this first time we mentioned it, blah, 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 blah.
And then I'll say, and we could also do that.
Yes.
But
2,
that's
3,
different,
4, 5
sweetheart.
steps ahead of me.
But that's different because, of course, when one has expertise in something, they should automatically think in that way better than someone who doesn't have that expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. So if anybody says anything to you about business, being a business owner, an entrepreneur, anything around in that arena, your mind is off and running. You can you have a certain stance and a certain look and a certain gesture.
Oh, but wait a minute. I'm glad you brought that up. Even in a case like that, you are still 2 and 3 steps.
That's not
ahead
true.
Of me. I'm going to demonstrate how this happens. Excuse me. So Jill, you'll have an idea for a business and you'll come to me and say, hey, Tony, I want to do such and such. Do you know how I should do that? I said, no, I don't know anything about that, Jill.
That's not true.
Listen. I'll say, I don't know anything about that because it may be something I have not done before. Right. And I'll say, no, I don't have any ideas on that. So you'll wait a few minutes and you'll rephrase your question. And I'll say, no, I don't know anything about that either. Like it was something different, but it's the same question. And then you'll ask me another time, maybe another 5 more minutes. You might say, well, what if I wanted to do such and such? And then I'm like, oh, well, you need to do this. Then you do that. Then this, that, this, that. And then you'll say, after I give you all of this information, you'll say, I knew I could get it out of you. I knew I had to ask you 3 times before you start spilling the information. You were way ahead of me. You knew, or the times where you want an idea. You need an idea for something. And just an idea. And you'll start asking me, do you have any ideas on that? No, I don't. And you'll ask me several different ways. And then next thing you know, I'm spouting out all these ideas. You said, you tell me, I know how your brain works. I know how your brain works. So this is what I do to get out of you what I need. You're way ahead of me, way ahead of me. way ahead of me.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What do you mean? It's true. You do it all the time. You do it all the time.
I don't. Because if that were true, if I know how your brain works, which I don't, because you're quite unpredictable. If I knew that, then I would get the information out of you the first time.
Well,
why would I have to ask 3 times?
Because I'm scatterbrained. See, that's why you have to ask it several ways until you it's like a combination. My brain is like a combination. If you want to open it up, you need to know the combination.
Have to turn the lock three
different
times.
ways. That's right. A little to the left, a little to the right, a little to the left, and then you get. I spill all this information out because I'm scatterbrained. You see,
but I don't think I'm ahead of you.
You are, because
you're often ahead of me steps, because you can watch me, observe me doing something. Just doing something, whether I'm on a stage or something, speaking, whatever it is I'm doing. And you're in the corner with your hands on your chin.
Uh-huh.
You're in the corner and you're like, rubbing your face. And I know, the wheels are turning. He's already 10 steps ahead of me as to how to turn this into a money-making opportunity. You do that often.
Well, that's very true. I do that. I do that.
Okay.
I do
what's
that.
the problem?
But I actually think you're even ahead of me on that.
I'm not.
You probably.
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Usually impromptu stuff.
Well, I'll make sure Tony's in the audience.
No.
So
the last time this happened, I didn't even know where you were. Last time this happened, I didn't know where you were, but all of a sudden I saw you.
Yeah. But I was there, and it gave me many ideas. But I've worked for myself like my entire life.
Right, which is why
my brain works that way. Just looking for other things, but I'm still scatterbrained. See, so sometimes, how I say, Jill, sometimes you have to hit me over the head with something for me to realize.
Yes, you don't get hints very well. You really don't.
Why give me these hints? Don't give me a hint. Say, oh, can you do this? Or, hey, don't give me hints, because I'm scatterbrained. I don't connect to these hints.
I don't.
Be direct.
Well, I've learned to do that with you.
Yes. What would be an example of you, okay, giving me a hint?
What are we going to do for our anniversary this year?
Uh-huh.
I might ask. Our anniversary is April 29th. I might start asking in February.
That's not a hint to me.
Exactly. So now I've learned to say, we need to plan something for our anniversary this year.
Yes. Now that I get.
I know.
That's direct.
But sometimes I want it to be a hint, because I want to know what you're thinking in regard to celebrating our anniversary.
Well,
I know you don't forget when our anniversary is.
Do not.
Because you keep the bookmark that has our anniversary date on it on your desk.
I keep it handy.
I know.
Listeners, it's in my hands.
It's in your hands right now.
Right this moment.
Yes.
That's how, so I won't forget. Yeah.
Yes. You've never forgotten our anniversary. However, I have learned that I have to start asking you early what we're going to do to celebrate it.
Remember the time we went to roller derby on our anniversary?
Which was fun. I enjoyed it.
We went to the restaurant.
Fun.
We went to the restaurant, then we went to the roller derby.
That was fun to me.
Cool. But if you had said to me, oh, maybe, well, our anniversary is coming up. I'm like, yeah. And then maybe 5 minutes later, what did we do last year? I don't know. Maybe we should do something different this year.
Isn't that how we got to the roller derby? Didn't we have that exact conversation? I think that is how that happened.
So, but it did happen. But if it was a hint like, oh, I don't know, what's another hint you would give that I wouldn't understand?
I don't know. That's usually the only hint I ever give you.
If you gave a hint like, oh, I just heard that one of my friends went to a cabin for their anniversary. And you might say, well, yeah, that was, I might say, yeah, that was nice. But I wouldn't take that as a hint.
I probably wouldn't be saying that as a hint. It's probably just a statement.
But yeah, but
however,
whatever.
I have hinted about, like, sometimes you'll say, what do you want for Christmas or your birthday? But I might be giving hints all year long about those things. And you're actually pretty good at picking up those hints because you often give me something that I didn't specifically ask for, but I had hinted about because you were listening.
Well, those are, yes, I do listen, but if you I don't think you do it as a hint. I think you just say things about stuff and I pick up.
No,
on
they're
that.
hints.
Well, see, I didn't know they were hints. See how you're 2 and 3 steps ahead of me. I didn't know they were hints. I didn't know.
Well, you got it.
Well, yes, I did, but I didn't know. I didn't know those were hints you were dropping over
because
my head.
I've learned how to phrase my hints
Again,
to where you'll listen.
This is why you're 2 and 3 steps ahead of me.
That is not. No,
yes, it is.
That's just communication.
No, that's not normal communication. That's like
that is normal
that's like
communication.
you 2 and 3 steps
Sweetheart,
ahead of me.
Most people do give hints to each other.
Well,
that's a normal thing to do.
Well, I remember one particular Christmas. I gave you some hints. I took a magazine or a newspaper, fold out that had all these sales in it.
I never said.
And I
hints.
Took it and I circled every single thing
that meant nothing to me.
I wanted.
You know why?
And I left it on the counter. And you, Jill, you love to read. So you will read just about anything if it's just sitting open.
Just about anything. But so when I start seeing names of tools and things I don't really understand, that's like
Jill,
eyes glaze over. I don't see anything else.
How often do I take newspaper clippings, circle?
I didn't know where they were coming from. Like,
them,
who did this and why?
Yes, you did. Who else in this house is going to have
I actually didn't notice the circle.
Circles. I mean, circle. Leave it like, oh yeah, she'll get this hint. It's right in front of her. She'll get it. But no,
I did not get that hint.
No,
because I stopped looking at it as soon as I saw it was a tool. I'm like, because everybody tells you have too many tools.
It was coming up to my birthday and Christmas. I was giving you a lot of options and you didn't even look at it.
Right. Because once I saw it was a tool, that just went right over my head. And I was like, oh, well, surely that's not a tool he wants. Because he, like in my mind, you were putting it there. You put it on a counter where, I look every day.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this is a reminder to yourself.
No.
To get this tool.
If it was to myself, I wouldn't leave it on the counter.
No, I thought, oh, well, you won't miss it. You won't miss it either because it's the last thing you see before you go down the steps to go to the garage. So I thought you were reminding yourself, not a hint to me. Like, because everybody knows I'm not the person to go and just buy a tool.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to you, I've done well when I have decided to research a tool you actually said you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have told me that.
Mm-hmm.
But you said, I want this tool. Whereas circling and all of that,
I figured,
that didn't work for me.
But there we go again. See, you are smart enough to give me the type of hints that, because the way my brain works, that I may understand. But me, on the other hand, I'm not smart enough to give you a hint that you'll understand.
No,
See-
you've learned to just tell me, I want this tool.
That's not a hint.
Okay.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. So let me give another example of how you're 2 and 3 steps ahead of me. So I don't know if I announced this or not, but I decided I was going to work on a spoken word poetry project that discusses the caste system in the United States and systemic racism. So I was going to write this poem. Like, I mean, I'm talking about, a poem that's maybe, 2 or 3 pages, right? I'm just going to write this poem about it. Okay.
About systemic racism
Yeah.
and the caste system.
Yes, in the United States. So I just, So I'm like, oh yeah, I can write this in a few days. So I've been working on it for maybe 6 months now.
I think it's longer. I think it's been about a year now.
No, it hasn't been a year. I'm sure
at least 8 months.
I'm sure it has.
At least 8 or 9 months.
Maybe 8 months. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really want. But
and it's not because it's 2 or 3 pages either.
No.
It's a book.
Yeah. But that's not what I set out to do. But here's the deal. When I told you that I was going to work on this project, you already knew that it was going to be a book of poetry.
Because I didn't see granted, poets are excellent, and you are too, excellent at choosing the exact word to use and making those concise choices, right? That's what poets do. They're excellent at it. But I didn't see how in the world you were only going to make that 2 or 3 pages, especially considering what's going on in the world.
Well, apparently I didn't see that. I still was like, oh, it'll be, quick, I can get this done and done. Start, finish, done.
Have you finished?
No,
you haven't.
I'm close to being. I'm very close to being finished, though. Very, very close.
You tell me that every week.
Because you ask every week.
I do ask.
But I am very close to being finished. I am probably like 7/8 done. At least. Yeah, about 7/8 done. And that's not including editing and all of that. But as far as just finished, getting it on the page.
Draft. Yes.
Yes. A draft. Yeah.
Yes. Well, in that example, I admit I was several steps ahead of you.
Of course.
But I knew that you would come to the realization that you needed more space, more pages.
Yep.
Because there's a lot to say.
Yep.
But I knew you would get there. It didn't take you long to realize it.
Yeah, it did. It took me about 3 months.
Well, I thought you would get. Actually, I hinted to you that that's what you're doing because I started calling it an epic poem.
Well, then it was an epic poem. See, it was an epic poem. That wasn't a book.
But epic poems are books.
Oh, but you see, there you go again. How you were 2 and 3 steps ahead of me. Epic poem. Okay, yeah, I'm writing an epic poem. All right, yeah, I was good with that. And then it was a book. So. Again, 2 or 3 steps ahead of me.
Well, that one I'm glad I was right about.
This I can say. When you are 2 and 3 steps ahead of me, it's always a good thing for me.
Good.
That's true.
Nice of you to say that.
Yeah, because you wouldn't intentionally steer me in the wrong direction.
That is correct.
Except when you tricked me that first time into writing prose.
Well, even that wasn't a bad thing.
Well, it wasn't a bad thing, but you tricked me. Listen,
I did trick you. I admit it wholeheartedly. Yes.
Jill-
that's what I had to do
Jill told me
to get you to do that.
Jill told me, yeah, you're going to make thousands of dollars, thousands. You're going to get a $60,000 book advance. Yeah, that's what you're going to get.
For the prose or the poetry?
For the poetry.
Yes.
The book of
but I knew that
poetry.
eventually you would research it
Yeah,
for yourself.
Yeah, I researched
and then
it
eventually
realized
you would see it. But by then you will have written something.
I was mad.
It was funny.
mad. I was mad.
It was funny.
I was like, she lied to me. She lied.
I thought of it more as a trick because I knew you would find out the truth sooner or later.
Yeah, but it's okay. But again, when you're 2 and 3 steps ahead of me, it's usually ends up good for me.
Yes. Well, let's get to our second segment that we call
Give it a rest and a resolution.
Conclusion, resolution.
Well, I've said this in a podcast before, and other people have said this also, but it tends to be true in most cases. Listen to the woman. Listen to the woman. Because usually women have our best interests at heart.
Yes.
So it's good.
I'm not disagreeing over that one.
Yes. That's it. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Oh, yeah. Listen
but
to
my conclusion resolution, because you've not steered me wrong either the times that you've been several steps ahead of me either. So you've not steered me wrong either. So if you're in a relationship with someone you trust, which I hope you're in a relationship with someone you trust, then listen to them because often they can see things that you can't because you're too close to it.
That's very true also.
Well, let's get to our third segment that we call
I'm trying to help you.
Do you have advice?
Do you have advice? Sometimes I like to hear what you say first.
Well, my advice is twofold. Number one, there's nothing wrong with being 2 or 3 steps ahead of your partner. There's nothing wrong with that. Just as you said earlier, it often means as long as you do it when you have their best interest at heart.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then my second point on that is it's good when your partner pushes you, even if it's uncomfortable for a moment. It's good if they push you in the right direction, because again, often they can see your future brighter than you can, especially if you're your own worst critic.
Yes, that is good advice. But I'm going to go a little different direction.
Okay,
with that,
go for it.
If you are a person that's like me, and you have a scatterbrain, okay? You know your brain is the scatterbrain, but you try to act like it isn't. Don't do that. If you're scatterbrain, accept it. Because when a person is scatterbrain and tries to act like they're not, it just makes them look crazy. It's crazy. Crazy.
So you're saying let the other person
admit it, embrace it. You know, people look at being a scatterbrain as a negative thing. Okay, because someone is scatterbrained. The brain is all over the place. So if you look at it, if the person that is a scatterbrain looks at it as a negative thing, you're trying to hide that you're a scatterbrain, and you end up doing and saying things that just don't come off right because you're a scatterbrain.
But in regard to our topic, that relates because the other person who might be 2 or 3 steps ahead of you can help you focus. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because if you're trying to hide that you're a scatterbrain, you probably, even when the person is 2 and 3 steps ahead of you probably won't accept it and, kind of be upset that they were all these steps ahead of you. So embrace it. It's okay. This is what I am. Okay. Doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. Just this is what I am.
Okay. Well, let's get to our last segment that we call.
So, what do you think? What do you think?
Because I'm right.
Because I'm right.
We do want to hear from you. That number again is
404-594-2247.
So we'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
We would. And if you're a scatterbrain like me, please let me know.
Oh, yes. Well, that's it for this episode. You've been listening to I'm Right.
I'm Right.
I'm Jill Cox Cordova.
I'm Anthony Cordova.
Shout out to Gifford Ivan Cordova III and Nick Zinke for the art. And thank you, listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye-bye.